Yay! Okay, and then we'll go.
You are now listening to Evolve with Nicolette, a bad bitch healing.
Yeah. Yes, y'all. We are live in the fucking studio. Oh my gosh. We are live all the way from the TJ and Latinx studio, y'all. I'm super excited for my guest today because this, like, when the stars are aligned, like it fucking feels like magic. And even with the technical difficulties right now, we got it all the way good. Cause even you said you're like, this is gonna be good. That's what that means. Y'all, my guest, my very special guest, and I'm super excited to have him here. Welcome my fellow mestizo, my fellow clubhouse friend. Like, it's so super dope. He's an account executive at Baton Hall, a communications officer for the Filipino American Association of Pittsburgh, and the founder of the Filipinx community on Clubhouse. The wonderful Alex Grubbs
What's
is here,
up?
y'all.
Thanks for having me. I love the intro too. Love it.
You know, it has to be proper.
Yeah.
Because this is not no regular shit we're doing here.
Oh, this good shit.
It is. It is. Man, I'm super excited that you're here because I feel like this is a long time coming, and we totally. I don't even. Do you remember how we met on Clubhouse?
Honestly, though, like I remember, like just to give context, like I had just gotten on Clubhouse. My friend, she's not my coworker, was like, "Yo, we're at work. We're put on here. Do you want an invite?" At the time he got invites, I was like, "Hell yeah, add me to that."
Yes.
So like we got there, and the first thing I was like, "Oh, where's the Filipino rooms at?" You know what I mean? I was like, because that's like me. Anywhere I go, I'm like, "Where the Filipinos at?"
Yes.
So I found like it was a Bahay Kubo room and things like that, and then I went to like some other rooms. They had like Filipino Excellence Daily, things like that, and I was like, I really want to have this conversation. Like, am I Filipinx enough? Like things like that. I had literally within the first week saw a couple people. I was like, y'all want to do this? Let's do it. So yeah, it was like me, my friend Josh, Zasha at the time. I had my friend Hannah, who I actually know in real life. I was like, yeah, you should be part of this too. And she's full Filipino.
Yeah.
And then had a friend Ruby too. We just were like, all right, let's start this. And that room was big. And that's how I met you. Because I remember that because you're like, oh, I'm half Latinx, I'm half Filipinx, like, this is my life. And I was like, and it stuck with me too when we, because I was like, I remember that, like, very memorable, like, story. And I was like, she's dope.
That's dope. Oh, you know, and that's the thing is that I found in those spaces that I was really one of the only few that were mixed with something else than other than just being like white or, I mean, which is totally fine, but it was like a different perspective, which actually led me to a lot of friends and people who followed me on like social media and stuff, just because it's like a different, it's just different, you know. And it is true because I'd be really feeling like a lone wolf out in these streets.
That's what it feels like sometimes.
It does. Probably for you too, because you're in fucking Pittsburgh. Like, how many Filipinos are out there?
I mean, there's a bunch, but like where I went, like literally
scattered.
But when I contextualize it to the high school like I went to, there was 3 of us. We were all half. And then like to even make it work, we were the only Asian people in our grade too. Okay, we had one Pacific Islander girl because she was from Guam.
Okay.
But it was like her and then us. And that was it. That was it. I was like, shit.
You know, and I was gonna actually, let's just start there because that's a whole nother aspect, right? Because I grew up in a place that was very culturally diverse. Yeah. We only had 5 white people in our school, and they were all technically Mexican washed.
Yeah.
So like it had, and they were all on the baseball team, and that was about that on that. Yeah. Like there was no, so for me, I had a lot of heavy Filipino communities there, Mexican and Black and other Latinx like ethnicities also, but mostly Mexican because it's LA, dog. Like I don't know like how else to explain that. But like how when I would talk in the spaces with y'all, I would actually kind of feel like a little bit bad because at least I grew up with 4 Filipino restaurants within a mile radius.
We have nothing.
Yeah.
We had one and it closed down because the woman who ran it had cancer. So she was like, I'm getting older.
Yeah,
I can't do this anymore. And that we had one.
Oh, and then probably even like not even just Asian store or like supermarkets.
Yeah, I mean we got the
Filipino markets.
Okay, no Filipino markets, but we have like local Chinese one. We have the local Korean one. We have those small little ones, but nothing. We don't have a seafood city. We ain't got none of that. Nothing. The closest seafood city is like what, 5 hours of drive away.
No,
yeah,
I couldn't imagine. So then I would talk to people from like Germany that were, this girl that I knew, she was or Ireland. I forgot where she was, but she was half Filipino and half white. And she's like, yeah, like we have to get that shit shipped out here. And because she's in Europe, she has to wait 2 weeks to get a motherfucking spam can.
Okay, no, we could grab those, but like we don't need that like order stuff.
Yeah. So then it instantly brought like a whole new level of awareness of even like that was privileged life for me too, right? Like the privilege in that. I'm totally going off fucking script here. I wrote this whole thing. I was telling Alex before we went on live that I was watching you and doing my show script, and I'm on a different wavelength than I was last night because it was very tense when I was watching you. Shout out to everybody who finished watching that damn show. They really need to stop that show because it's the ludicrousy on that show script is absolutely terrible. But if you're listening to us live right now on the app, Carol Mommy says that she cannot hear me on the app. Bro, what the fuck? But it is okay. We're still gonna go live. Hopefully you can hear me now on the app. But if you want to join in on our conversation, hit the menu on the top left, those 3 lines, hit the drop down and hit chat room, log in as a guest, baby, or, make a username since you want to be in the mix with us, and join our convo, ask a question, add to the conversation, all of the things. And also too, we're live on YouTube. So on the TGN Latinx YouTube channel and the Evolve with Nicolette YouTube channel. We're everywhere. We're live everywhere. Like there's no excuse not to be with us right now. And what I want to get into is how important it is to share our mixed experience.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel we were talking about this earlier. We've talked about this before. It's like everyone tries to put us in a box. And like, what box? Like, we don't have a box.
No.
You know what I mean? And I think and I was thinking about this when I was driving here too. Like, how many things do I have to fill out? And it's like, oh, Asian, white,
pick one.
Black, and it's like you could pick one, or I'm like, I am more than one, so it's mixed race. Like, who is that? Because I even like bring that up. I was like, mixed race could be anybody. Like, who is being represented in there? Because it's like, I'm not the only person, and we don't gatekeep like being mixed either. It's like there's so many, blended mixes of people.
Yes.
It's like, what is this?
And I actually just posted something on Instagram right now that said that even being called mixed race is kind of like not whitewashing, but like molding it into one race when that's not even accurate too. So then I'm like, my whole mind is just like fucked up now. And it's like, wait, what are we talking about here? But I love where this conversation is. Because first of all, shout out to my fucking age, because I just heard, like, Alex told me yesterday that he was 25. I don't know why he thought he was in his fucking 30s like me. And I'm like, yo, I have at least you're 10 years before my realization of my whole identity crisis. Let's talk about that. Like, what was growing up like in Pittsburgh? Because you're from Pittsburgh. You're half Filipino, half white, and your mom's Filipina. First of all, Visaya too. Shout out to that, because I had no idea.
Yeah, she's Southern Visayas, Northern Mindanao. So got that mixed together.
Yes. And then your dad's from where?
He's from Pittsburgh. He's a born and raised Pittsburgh boy.
Okay. So then what was like, let me know how that was like.
Well, I mean, like, just for starters, I always bring up is like I grew up in a very like white black community. We had like a mix of that, because I wasn't necessarily I wasn't in like an upper middle class neighborhood. We were like lower middle class, like, and things like that. So growing up too, like my parents, like my dad was in the military. So for a bulk of my like very early years of my childhood, he wasn't there. So I felt like
Oh,
as a
wow.
kid, it was very Filipino because like my Lula's there. And I say Lula because
Mm.
Bisaya, that's Lola.
Yeah.
But like she was there, my mom was there, and my
Mhm.
dad's mom, my grandmother up the street, was
Uh-huh.
there too. So it was like very Filipino. Of course, I had my white family as well.
Mhm.
That was a good mix. And even add another layer to it, it's like my grandmother was half Indian. And when I mean Indian, I mean from India.
Oh,
So it's like we
wow.
have like this mix of like that's how my it was very
Wow.
Asian, like
Yeah.
for a very big amount of time. But then there was like a switch when my dad came back from the military. That's when it was very like, oh, this is
Oh, fuck.
shit. I'm white too. Like you know what I mean? I didn't realize that. No,
Oh, shit.
that's the funny part too, because like because I didn't really have like those experiences you would have. It was very with my immigrant mom, like that was my
Right.
experience, and I knew from the get like I am different from everyone. People brought that up, and
Mm.
even their kids. I can't even count how many times I heard something about Chinese this, Chinese that.
Fuck.
It's like you're stereotyping me, and the thing is, you're not even picking the right ethnicity to stereotype me in. So you're wrong for doing it, and then two, you're wrong because you don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Fuck, bro. It is so relatable. I want to cry. It is that I had the same experience
Yeah.
too with my Latino side of my family. With my Mexican side, I would be called China. My mom fucking told me that they used to call me arrocito. That means like little rice.
Oh my god.
Bro, what? She barely told me
Someone-
that 2 days ago, and I
Look.
was like, absolutely not.
Look, there's just, and I'm not holding this against this girl because she's not like that anymore. But we're
Mhm.
teenagers. She called me a little egg roll. This girl was arguing with me, and like that still hits. That still hits. I'm like, because I'm like,
That cuts you deep.
I know. I'm like, because it's kind of funny. Like low key, it's funny, but like high key, like you're racist as hell for that. But I don't hold it against her because I know she ain't like that now. Like it was a different time. We were young. Like I'm not gonna. It wasn't okay back then, but I'm not gonna hold her to that now because I know she ain't like that. But still,
fuck.
I felt that.
Yes.
You feel that? I'm like, I felt that in my soul. I still do.
I told my mom because my cousins I guess she didn't realize or she didn't know that they were calling me either Big China or Chinita. So that basically is slanted eyes or
Mhm.
Chinese. What the fuck?
I know.
It's very normalized in Spanish. And the Spanish language, which is also, I could get into this all motherfucking day on how racist this shit is, but do not call people that. We're gonna do red flags later, but do not call people that. Please stop. The fuck shit is real, especially when calling people names like that. So shout out to the people who couldn't even stereotype us properly.
I know, and they don't even know. They don't even know. I'm like, damn. That's why I'm like, there's Filipino erasure everywhere. I'm just like, how do y'all not know? How you not know?
It really is.
You could have called me a little lumpia. I would have been like, oh shit, that
hits right.
Yeah, like I mean, that was kind of racist, but like you did that. Like you bodied that. Like damn.
It's proper.
I'll take little lumpia over little egg roll. Shit.
Oh fuck, that is hilarious. Me too, though. Me too. Holy shit, that is fucking.
If we don't get a
hilarious,
Filipino
dude.
rapper named Lil Lumpia, I'm gonna be pissed. Like that, we need that.
That is hilarious. I can't.
And if you out there already, bro, where you at? Like, come to the light.
Let us put you on. Let us put you on. God damn, that is hilarious. So, like, for when was it where you were getting your really heavy dose of like outside of your family? Because it was the same experience for me. I mean, also too, a lot of my best friends are Filipinos or Asian. But I had a good mix of both. But like my best friends are Filipina. So I was blessed in that, like, right, having still a lot of culture and community around me and the food being nearby. So it was definitely outside of my house. But I don't want to say code switch, but like it was the same for me. When I was being raised by my Lola and Lolo when and my Tita Francis when my parents were at work. So then my dad would be the one to pick me up, but then my mom's going to be speaking Spanish, cooking Mexican food when she got home. So it was definitely like, it was mixed all the time in my house. So when did you do you feel like now because of Clubhouse you've been able to connect more with like Filipino friends and
I think, I mean, for me, it's
or
like
college?
I feel like I've been on this like journey. I mean, like even let me like bring it back to when I was younger. Like it was
Yeah.
always code switching because like everyone was different. And it's
Right.
like it's not even then too. It's like in my family, we have black people in my family too.
Mm-hmm.
Married in. So it's
Yeah.
like we got the Filipinos here. We got
Right.
a lot of my cousins are Irish, and then
Mm.
it's like we have black folks here. We have like a good mix. Everyone's just everything. So like you come to our Thanksgiving, there's the pancit and lumpia, and then there's all like these other different things.
Yes.
And I'm just like, oh wow, look at this. We got all the food up in here. Like that's what I like though. I mean, I like that we can
so
all
blessed.
we have like my one aunt has like this big long table that we all like sit at, and it's just like there's so much. It feels like rich, and it's so interesting because it's like, and this is my dad's side. It's like interesting that it's like, oh, this is cool. Even though it's like a lot like my dad's white and the sisters are white and things like that, but it's just like we're all kind of blended and we're here
Right.
kind of just enjoying each other, which is dope. But like I think for me though, I mean, I've had it outside the house as well, especially as a kid. My mom has a lot of friends, so like we're
a lot
always
of
hopping.
honorary titas for
Yeah,
sure.
literally, they are my titas.
Yeah.
Like, they literally are. So we were always hop house. They always had karaoke parties and stuff when I was a kid. But when I became a teenager, that's when it was just like I'm in a different place. My dad was very present then because he's out of the military. He retired. He's here, and then my mom is just like she's busy. I'm in school, all that stuff.
Right.
And I was like, I want to go to them parties, like shit, like you know what I mean. I'm like, I want to hang out with my friends. I want to do stuff.
Right.
So like, I feel like I spent more time with my dad as a teenager. So, but I think when you're a teenager, that's when you're really like, who am I?
Right.
What is it? But you don't really dig deep in it. You're just like, you're questioning it, but you don't know how to go about it. No one's having this conversation with you. And like, I don't think I've ever had that conversation because my dad's always like, oh, you're not Filipino. And it's just like, well, because not just because I'm not my mother, but I am. And I actually called him out on that like recently. I'm like, I am Filipino. It's just maybe not like her, but I am Filipino.
Yes.
So yeah, and the thing is too, most of my friends growing up, they were white or black. So like I grew up with this like interesting mix of being like only Filipino. Of course, my friend Kayla, like who I grew up with, like she's half Filipino as well. She's very involved in things. It's just like weird split. But then I was like, when I went to college, I was like, I do need to get involved in my community.
Right.
Because like when I finally went to college, I was like, look, I am different than everybody. And like it's always been this way. And now that I'm in college, now that I'm an adult and I'm forging my new like life, my future, like I really ain't like y'all at all. Even if like I'm friends with y'all, I hang out with you all the time. Like I consider you like basically blood, but like it ain't like that though, because we don't live. I walk outside, people already know I'm different. Like, y'all don't need to worry about that. I mean, people do have to worry about that, of course, but like I automatically look different from the get.
Right.
So yeah, so I was like, and it never came like all together at once, right? It was like I was in my history class and I was like, oh, I want to write a paper on the Philippine American War. I don't know anything about it.
Right.
Like we got like a paragraph glimpse of it throughout school. So I was like, I'll learn about that. And then we have our Filipino events. I was like, I want to go there because I want to be surrounded. I want the food, all that stuff. And then I was like, oh, let me watch a teleserie with English subtitles because I'm like, I'm not home anymore. I don't get that. So I'm like, yeah. So let me try to dabble learning the language a bit. I tried the best I can self-teaching before. Now I have a teacher now, which is dope.
Right.
So it was a bunch of mix. And then last year, I've already done nonprofit stuff within the communications field at least. And so my, one of the titas, she's actually like my Lola, really. Yes. Realistically, she's my Lola. She was like, hey, like, I would really want you to be part of our board here, the Filipino American Association of Pittsburgh. Like, you should do it. I was like, oh, everything's aligning up. Like, this is what it is. I was like, I want to jump on that. I was like, the time is now. I've already done nonprofit work. I know the gist of it.
Yes.
Let me hop into it. So, like, I started getting really involved, like, more than I was before in my,
that's dope.
In my local organization. And then what was great, what coincided with it was like, then Clubhouse popped up. I was like, I was already doing this on my own.
What was that? So it was like from one year to the next. So it was like 2019 to 2020.
Yeah, it was just like a nice, like steady roll over time. And I think like I've got involved in my local organization. I started doing stuff and then Clubhouse hit. And then I was
that's dope.
So this is like an extension. It was already an extension of what I was already doing.
The universe is bringing you all those spaces. Yes.
It's like there's all these things that I could bring, but I've learned so much from so many other people from like their experiences, and then like digging deeper on like, oh, what does this mean? what did colonization do? Like I didn't think that
Fuck.
as deep into that, right? Like but I was like thinking about like that stuff, and it just kind of like jumped in and all that stuff. So that's where I'm at. And you know what's funny? And again, I'm still told I don't look Filipino. And like, you don't look Filipino. And I'm like, look, I just say I'm mestizo because it's just easy for people to be like, all right, you're cool. Like that makes sense.
Right.
Because like seriously, even growing up too, like when I went to college, everyone thought I was Mexican. I'm serious.
I was
bro.
about to ask
They thought I was
you
Mexican.
that.
I remember, and I lived in DC for a bit, like when I was interning. I remember I was going, and like in the summer, I could get dark. Like
Mhm.
I remember, what is it? What was her name? I remember because her name was like Ermasina or something. And she was like,
Not
"Are you?"
Ermasina.
She was like, "Are you from El Salvador?"
Stop.
And I was like, I'll take that as a compliment though, because
Yeah.
like, you know, I was like, all right,
At least
cool.
I'm not being recognized as white. Is
Yeah,
that what the feeling was?
Yeah, I was like, oh, you think I'm one of y'all? I was like, that's dope though. I mean, we might have because you know the Spanish and stuff, but I was like, all
Yeah.
right, cool. No, but even then, I remember on my floor my freshman year, we had these like two Mexican dudes, like they were cousins. It's like Chris and Johnny. Still, I haven't seen them in a bit, but still, mad love for them.
Yes.
They're like, yeah, we thought you were one of us, but then we met your mom. I was like,
oh, so they didn't know until they met your mom.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Because it was just like assumption. Because people thought, because like I can get a little bit more tanned over the summer, and it's just like, yeah, but it's like I'm Filipino.
Yeah.
So like.
Oh,
So
man,
it's like
I can relate to
so
that.
I'm just walking this life like ain't nobody know who the hell I am, what I am, but like y'all just know I'm different, and I got the eyes to prove that. So like,
hey, you know what? It fucking matters. Sorry, I'm trying to get shit back online. I guess people cannot hear us on the app. It's all good. You guys are gonna have to just hit the playback. That's how special this fucking shit is. So just so that y'all know, but we're gonna keep on going because it don't phase us with these problems. We're live. I'm live in the studio. Everything says it's on. So we're manifesting. If we could collectively manifest a motherfucking production team, because Nico's over. Nico just needs to show up. Nico just needs to show up and press play, and we'll be good. I can relate to that because, okay, this is what I wanted to ask you too, because for some reason I forgot your last name.
Yeah.
Because I only like put two and two together with your Instagram name, which is half Filipino, which is dope. I
don't know how I got that. That was just luck.
So lucky, so dope. So do you wish that did you ever have like this? I was self-conscious about my last name.
Oh, I am.
Okay. Because it's another layer that cannot prove that I'm Filipina. Yeah. Right? So and then the fucked up shit is that my great Lolo, I think maybe one more great, he cut off our last name. So it's my last name, my maiden name is Ruben. Mm-hmm. But my Lolo cut it off. It was Ruben DeCellis. And I'm like, that fucking hits, dog. Yeah. Why did we cut that? Yeah. So my cousins and I are totally like, oh, why did he cut our last name?
You always bring it back. It's a lot of money though. You gotta pay for that.
I never thought about that or doing that actually, because you know we're Filipinos, so people are really named out here. Mary Magdalene, you know, with the maiden name. So you know, not to put my tita's full name on blast, but everybody. That's also another thing too. My mom and dad didn't give me a middle name. So
it's usually like the maiden name.
Like you could have gave me Camille, you could have gave me Joy, you could have gave me something to also prove that I'm also Filipina, but no, y'all didn't. You guys really left a space.
I have the whitest name.
No.
My name is Alexander Anthony Grubbs.
Yes,
I am so white.
That sounds regal.
That is white. That's white, y'all.
Oh my god, that is what. Well, yeah. Okay, so I'm glad that we can relate on that part because your last name is Grubbs, but like, was it the same thing? Like, it's another layer.
But it's just like
but your dad is white, so that's the thing too.
Well, my Lula's like maiden name is Amora. That's just dope. Like. Alex Amora would have been dope. Honestly, if I ever like became an actor, I probably would go under that.
Yeah, you should.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
Or I might just add that in the middle, like Alex Amora Grubbs, just to show like I'm both. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I would just do it just because the added in. Because my mom's maiden name is Abu Seho. I was like, look, these motherfuckers here ain't gonna be able to pronounce that shit. That's on some real shit. I don't even want to like go there. I don't even want to go there with that.
Amora, not you saying you want to be on a soap. Did you just say you want to be on a soap thing?
A teleserie? I know that's
A
the one thing.
telenovela, yes.
That's the one thing that both cultures got. We got some good drama, and even if it's bad, it's fucking good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, thank y'all for that.
Yes,
Telenovelas,
thank y'all.
teleseries, y'all did that.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is hilarious, man. This is filling my cup up so much. I'm telling y'all, it's hard in the streets for us that are mixed, and not just like speaking from someone who's, coming from two immigrant parents, it's another fucking level to that, right? Like the first gen experience is the pressure is so real.
Yeah.
Right. And then because how old was your mom when she came here?
She came here when she was 20 years old.
Yo.
Didn't know anyone. My dad was like, "You want to marry me?" And she was like, "Bet." And then they're still together. It's like they're rocking like 30 years. They're still together, like almost 30. But it was so funny. She was like, "Yup." Didn't know no one. She actually got crazy enough. She was working at the drive-thru at Taco Bell, like in the local community I'm from. And the Filipino was like, "You're one of us." Like I could see it or something, because at the time she was still darker. For some reason she got lighter, because we do got the Spanish in our blood. So she got lighter being here in the US. But like, "You're one of us. Y'all gotta come with us." And that's how she got introduced.
Yes, we love that. And that's the thing too, is that Filipino community here, especially back then, not just now, but back then, no social media, no nothing. So
they were just out here with vibes.
They were out here with fucking vibes. Like, where are y'all at? That's where we're flying to, because my whole family went to Chicago first.
Yeah.
And then they came to California. Yeah. Praise God, because I don't know how I'd do out in Chicago.
My dad.
Shout out to y'all Filipinos being in the cold.
My dad was like, "Yeah, like it's crazy." He was like, "I used to live out here." I was like, "Y'all didn't stay? Like, what is wrong with you?" He was like, "No, I wanted to come home."
Come on, damn it, Dad.
Jesus, like. Why y'all do that? I mean, I ain't gonna complain. Like,
right.
It's still home.
It's still home. It's okay. Damn.
But if that was my choice, I would have been out here.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I then quickly realized, because I'm over here, and I don't want to say crying to diminish my experience, but I was out here really thinking that I had it rough in these streets when I was growing up with a lot of Filipino people.
It's still valid though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally.
Because even then, like I feel this way now too. Because I'm like, I'm mestizo. I'm trying to get all this stuff, but I've connected with a lot of people who are full Filipino. And they're like, "Oh, I'm a bad Filipino. I don't know nothing." I'm like, "I'm this or that." And like I always say too, and I've said this before, it's like there's no such thing as a bad Filipino contextualized to identity, because there are bad Filipinos out there. Let's be real, there are. But we ain't gonna sit here and say. But when it comes to identity, though, there's no such thing as a bad one.
No.
It's like you can know nothing.
Right.
You're still Filipino.
You're still Filipino.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I do want to get to, before we keep on moving our conversation going, we're gonna figure out why y'all can't hear us on the app, but we're gonna go to a commercial break. So here is a word from my sponsor. This episode is sponsored by LaRousse. LaRousse is created with our community in mind. We are for the most novice consumer to the most experienced artist. We want to continue creating brushes that will help our community amplify their individuality while embodying power, strength, and courage. Our product is designed in California, luxury, handmade, cruelty-free, hypoallergenic, vegan brushes. Softness as soft as your favorite broken-in brush. Check out Miss Rennie, a 14-piece set. She is our highest rated best-selling brush set, featuring some of our most popular brushes. She is our most versatile set. Use her to create a simple... This episode is sponsored by LaRousse. LaRousse is created with their community. All right, y'all. We'll just do the sparkles to make things sound better. I don't know what happened to my commercial, but we will fix that. It is all good. Shout out to LaRousse for sponsoring your girl. And hit me up if you want to sponsor the podcast, y'all, because your girl's gonna be doing live shows soon. So we're taking it to the hood. I think we're going to Wilmington first, because they're the ones who want your girl out here. So shout out to the Wilmington Barber Lounge for wanting your girl to do a live show there. I'm excited. That's coming soon, so I'll let you guys know. I want to continue this conversation because that's what I'm saying. This shit's so aligned, because that's the thing that happens to me now is, you were just talking about there's no such thing as a bad Filipino. I had to come to terms with that in the past 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And your girl's 34.
I'm in the same boat. So the fact that you're 25 gives me so much hope, at least for my sons, because I know even for them, it's going to get even
harder, but at least I have the vocabulary now, the experience to be like, no, you are enough. So I don't even tell them, hey, you're 1/4 this, you're 1/4 that. You're Filipino and you're Mexican.
Yeah.
My husband's a little bit white, but we're not going to claim it.
Yeah.
When I
So
found that
funny.
out, I was like, what the fuck? I should have vetted you before we got married.
I know, as I'm with a white girl right now. That's the funniest part. No, and I actually
we love her.
yeah.
Shout out to the girlfriend. Beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. Much love to her.
Yes.
No, but that's like a real conversation, like a split, and I'll be candid about it because she and I have had this conversation.
Yeah.
It's really hard because it's like this is not true. This is not like how I feel, but this is definitely something I've been battling with. It's like, well, I'm dating a white girl and I'm trying so hard to regain this identity that I feel like was robbed from me. Am I just going out here and just going to go ahead and dilute it at the same time? And like realistically, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. But it's just like, but it's not her fault. It's my struggle. That now I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Like shit.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be raised up on that, but you'll know, like, even though you may not look it, you still are. And I've said this so many times, like, I don't want this to be like, oh, this is dad's thing, or this is Lola's thing.
It's
like, no, it's our thing.
Yep.
And I don't want you to like question it. Like, shit, y'all gonna know Tagalog. What's up? And that at least the start, and just like I think that's very important because I didn't get that. You know, and I could sit here and like complain with my mom and like she didn't teach me and do all that stuff, but I'm like, what resources did she have? Right. Realistically, I could sit here and say that as someone who's been through college, like a master's degree and all this stuff. Let me call this all out, but I'm like, she didn't have that. She was like by herself. She was an immigrant. She was with
they were in survival mode.
Yeah.
She was with this white man.
Yeah, like what was he supposed to know? And like I'll give some props to my dad to like at least he's like embrace the food. They saved up as little as much money to let us go to the Philippines at a young age. So it's just like he wanted us to be there, wanted us to see that stuff. That's
dope.
So it's like,
shout out to your dad. Yeah. Shout out to Pops.
So like, even though it's like I didn't get everything that I wish I had, and I feel like they should have prioritized, like they tried what they could do with what they had. They
could do the best that they could, and that was enough at the time. So that's dope.
Yeah.
So that's how and I remember having these, that's the thing, is that it triggered an early memory with me and you in Clubhouse. And you talked about like what your wife, like what that needs to be like once you get married, right? And how you would want to raise your kids. Because I was talking from a perspective of being married and already having sons. And I had mentioned that we're not fractions, by the way, right? We're not fractions. So we're not doing the whole 1/4 thing. I use my identity was so fucked up. I used to say, this is my Mexican side, this is my Filipino side. Yeah. So I literally saw myself as like half
split. Me too. Actually, like you saying that kind of like put in perspective, because I got the half Filipino stuff. I don't feel that way now.
No.
But like at the time, like even then, I was like still managing through what that is. And then when you said that, I was like, you're so right though. Like I'm Filipino and white. I'm Filipino American. That's it. Yeah. I don't even need to explain what that is. That's just what it is.
And here's the thing that triggered this whole identity thing for me, because I thought I was having an identity crisis solely specifically to myself. But my Filipino side is so diverse. We have Japanese, Filipino Japanese, Filipino Chinese, which by the way, they're even more fucked up because they're Chinese from the Philippines, born and raised from the Philippines.
It's interesting too, because they're like from a specific part of China.
Yes.
Like, people don't realize that. My friend Jason, he's basically Chinese. Yeah. But it's like, I grew up in the Philippines. Like I'm Filipino. Right. Yeah.
So my little cousins, he looks like my shout out to Casey and Kevin, y'all. They still call me Manai. We were having this conversation at Christmas one year, and they were talking about like, and I thought I was having this specific issue to myself of being half and half. And they're like, when they went to college, they were trying to get into like the clubs and stuff like that, but they weren't Chinese enough. For the Chinese club. They weren't Filipino enough, but they identify as fully Filipino. You know what I mean? Like the way how they identify as Filipino, like y'all saying. Wait, what? You know?
Actually,
it's hard.
You know, I remember because like at my school, we didn't have like those type of organizations. We didn't have like an FSA or like stuff like that. But some of the local ones that, actually, I don't want to put her on blast, so I'm going to say her name, but a friend of mine, she's also half, but like, she didn't grow up with her dad in her life and things like that. I think he passed away at a very young age or something like that. So it was always her mother. And she's very involved within the community, always does stuff. She's an amazing Filipino, like traditional dancer, everything. Even if she's like half, it doesn't even matter.
Right.
And, like even then, and like her mom was like even, you know, what is it? Very involved in the community. Like everyone knows who she is.
Right.
So it's like she's like one of the top dogs of like you know, stuff. And even when she tried to like, you know, be part of like the local, like, you know, at school, the student organization, they're all like trying to be all like, oh, you're not enough and things like that. And like, you have to commit your life to this and do this stuff. And, and she was just like, look, it's like, I don't want to sit here and say that I'm more Filipino than them, but like, they really are like more whitewashed than I am in that perspective, because I could do the dances. I'm here. I'm learning the language. I know all this stuff. But like I'm still not enough to be in this room. But it's just like so what that's not. I mean, I was like, look, I was like, we could have hours worth of conversations of how I feel about that. And it's just like it's so true. And it's just like I wouldn't think of her as anything less. She is so involved in this stuff.
Right.
That's like
the fact that we have to prove is so fucked
up.
Up.
And the thing is, it's just like, and she's not out here on social media or like she's not a clubhouse type person. She just does stuff in the community. So to me, I was just like, y'all don't even. No, and there's so many, like I know we're speaking about it, but like there's so many folks that like we don't see that are dealing with this stuff, or they're like trying to tackle it in a different way and like, things like that. And even I even bring it up too, like some of the older, like we just like one of the titas is moving to Louisiana. Like she's been very involved in the organization. The reason why they kind of got the dance troupe started and things like that in the first place is because her daughter, who was half, was like, I really want to learn this. I know nothing about it.
Oh, that's
so dope. Like, and it now, how many decades now? It's like a big, like people are still doing it. People coming in town doing this dance stuff, and I'm just like, and it all comes from someone who is half insane, and that really sparked like the whole this whole dance thing that's going on in Pittsburgh, at least.
That's
so
dope.
Like, so to me, it's just like, look. We're here.
We're
like,
here. We out here. We're enough. And shout out to the chat because at least we're live on YouTube, y'all.
I love the comment. I'm Mexican. I was asked a lot if I was Filipino. I think that's something we all deal with. It's like an interesting mix.
Hey, Carol, you do look like my cousin, bitch. So like you're totally out here. That is yes, I love that. Goddess Lotus says, praise God, David Cali. Oh man, shout out to my Lola Lolo, y'all. I'm gonna put my dad on blast because this is what he gets for not being up with his daughter and her podcast. But the reason why my dad is in America, period, is because one of my titas ratted him out. He was definitely the black sheep of the family, wilding in these Filipino streets. Okay, David. So she found a big ass pot plant in his room in the Philippines. And then my dad, when he tells us the story, she was telling us, and my dad whispered in my ear, he's like, but she didn't see all the cocaine that was underneath my mattress. What? So my dad basically came here still faded, still high from drugs, still all the things, but he came out here because he was wilding out there. So shout out to my dad for fucking up over there. Sophia says, I'm listening and watching you on YouTube. Yes, thank you. And Goddess says, hell yes, live
I hear
show.
That Thanksgiving. Yeah, that Thanksgiving is popping. Like I love that
Thanksgiving. It really is.
Oh
Listen,
my God. I'm looking forward to it. Like it's so fun for all of us to get together. It's just so much food.
So much food.
It's basically food and football. That's all that's going on.
Just full disclosure, I know because you have white in your family, but like for me, especially my Filipino side, the turkey is the side dish.
Yeah.
You're lucky if it's even there.
Everything is a main dish. That's what it's like here. The turkey is there.
The ham is the main dish for my titas and titos.
I won't lie though, because my aunt, like my one white aunt, she does make like her potato salad slaps. Like I ain't gonna lie, it does. It slaps. I'm like, all right. Shout out to her.
I'm that tita that it's definitely have the slapping mac salad. Yeah. Like that is totally me. I mean, my husband definitely has country in his blood, unfortunately. But I remember when he came to my tito's house in Chatsworth, and it was for Thanksgiving. Yeah. he was so disappointed. There was no mashed potatoes. There was no macaroni and cheese. The turkey was like put to the side. It was bought from Honey Baked. He was like, "What the fuck is this? What is this?" Because I don't know about everybody else, but Mexican Thanksgiving for Mexicans is turkey is fine, but there's Mexican rice. There, I don't know about everybody else, y'all, but it's crazy being mixed like in America.
It's always food. It's always a food conversation.
Yes, because that's and that's why I always say like praise God that I am Mexican and Filipino because they're very similar, and the food is fucking bomb. And God. I'm never gonna be upset that I'm Mexican and Filipino because the food is fire.
I know, it's like at least we got flavor.
Yes, yes.
That's how I always say it. Like, and I that's why I would say it's like at least we got some flavor in us. Like I knew they had something. It was the food. Like they got that specific stuff. It's like I know this ain't white.
Yes.
Like,
shout out to your family because you're
shout out to all the titas and titos that slave away. And I don't want to use that word, but like they really do. They work very hard.
Yes, we work very hard. That is so funny. We did have. I barely found out that his mom is Visaya, like my family, and Northern Mindanao also. Yeah. So my lola's from Mindanao. My family speaks Hiligaynon, and we had this conversation off air. But that even for me, my thing is that I'm not even the right type of Filipino because my family speaks no Tagalog, non-existent. Like so. I feel like the things that are stacked against us. That's why I thank you so much for validating me when you said there's no such thing as a bad Filipino because I can that was totally me. Like I'm not even the right type of Filipino.
Yeah, I always feel that way too. Sometimes I'm just like, but what is right? And I said this before too. It's just like, is there a checklist? Do I have to wear this barong? Do I have to make this pen sit? Do I have to say something like, "Oh, hello, kumusta? Maraming salamat po." Like, do I have to do that to check that?
Do I gotta walk in doing the tinikling? Like, what the fuck?
Sure.
Yes.
Like, am I supposed to know that from the get? Like, you know what I mean? Like, damn. And then you're bringing up my one friend. Like, she does all of that, and she still isn't enough. So, like, what is it?
Oh, it's hard out
People
here.
Just like gatekeeping. That's what it is. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, but Filipinos are extremely judgmental. At least the older generation, and I'm not gonna lie, even people in my own age bracket,
even mine too. It's just like it's true stuff.
It's hard out here. So when I asked my brother, really quick, before I asked my brother, like, do you relate to that? He's like, yes, dog. Like, we literally wore shirts that had Filipino and Mexican flags on them. Like, we wanted to be seen so bad. Yeah. And but the craziest thing is that even the shirts didn't do any justice for me because I would wear Pinay shirts. In Hawaii at the swap meets, they do have problematic shirts of what Filipinos look like. We definitely do not fucking look like that. Shout out to anybody who knows the Filipino Strength brand, but those we Filipinos, that is what our ancestors. I always say like, oh, that's what my ancestors look like. It's these big ass buff brown Filipino guys, and I'm like, that is not what we look like at all.
Maybe at one point.
Right? Before they came and colonized us, okay? Yeah. No shout outs to Magellan, but okay. But I would even wear those shirts and they'd be like, oh, did they bring that like as pasalubong back, like a gift back from the Philippines? And I'm like, no, I'm actually Filipino. Like, not even the shirts did me justice. Yeah. Because, and the thing is that I didn't have to fight to be seen as Mexican. I look it. Yeah. Right. So I would even be upset because when you talk about the Filipino American experience, there's always those things where people are putting the nose clip on their nose to be more pointier and not so flat, right? I wanted my nose to be more flatter so that people could be like, oh yeah, I do see the Filipino, I
put like the papaya soap too. People want to be whiter.
Or magic, like what was it? Magic soap. That's also one that was big when I was little.
People, what is it? I made a TikTok once. Like last year, I made a TikTok. I was like, "You're the whitest Filipino." And literally, there's photos of me from a child to like an adult of me being the whitest Filipino. People were like, "You use the papaya soap and do all that stuff." I'm like, "No, I have a white dad." That's what that was.
I wasn't trying.
And like we got a Spanish, like we have a Spanish tita from like way back when, because it's true. My Lolo's grandmother, like. she was Spanish. So like,
Same.
yeah. So it's like it kind of, I know it's so far back, but like that contributes. My mom was a very light Filipino woman.
Right.
She used to be darker, but she's very light now. And it's like, well, because we have that Spanish influence. Because people are like, are you even enough? You know what she says? She's like, we got Japanese. That's what she says.
No!
Because it's just easier to like explain
It's
that.
so much easier.
I was like,
to
girl,
explain.
you ain't not Japanese. I took the ancestry DNA test. That did not show up. I was like, we got we got 1% Chinese. We got no lick of Japanese in us. If someone said they were from Japan, like they were saying stuff because I didn't roll up.
Oh
Like,
my god, my son, shout out to G, guys. He said the other day in the car, he's like, oh yeah, we're Japanese too. And I'm like,
I
when?
know,
Where?
That's
And
so
he's
funny.
like, well, because we eat sushi a lot. And I'm like, stop it. You are not Japanese. No. So I have to do better as a mom. Oh my god.
I'm bringing up my ancestry DNA right now. I'm
No,
like,
you're not.
it's loading. Give it a second.
Oh my gosh.
My
I
DNA
do.
story.
Before we I want to finish with red flags. Because first of all, it's fun. It's the trend.
Yeah.
Everybody's posting these Twitter memes of people doing the red flags and like relationships or marriage and all this stuff. But when we chatted on the phone yesterday, wait, did your ancestry come up? The European thing?
Hold on.
How high was European? Because
Okay.
the fuck shit with the colonization.
This was the breakdown of everything. So 49% Southern Philippines, Visayas and Mindanao.
Nice.
49. So people are getting on me. You're like, you ain't half. You should put 49% Filipino. I was like, yo, don't roast me like that shit. I was like, it was 50%, but then they updated. I can't help that. What is it? 27% England and Northwestern Europe.
Mm.
And then there's Scotland, 9%. And then Central Asia, South, 7%.
Hey,
this
you
is through
have
my
a
grandmother.
lot. You have a lot there.
Northern, Southern India, it's 3%, 2%. Wales, 1%. Bengal, 1%. Southern China, 1%.
Oh, snap.
I'm like,
oh, no, Japanese mom. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, y'all keep saying that. I mean, she kind of does look it, but it's because she's lighter. I'm like, get there. No, it would have rolled up. I was like, we got China roll up. We didn't get Japanese roll up, so I don't know what the hell you talk about that stuff. And it's cool. Like, I wish I could show y'all, but like, as you see, like, it literally,
that's dope.
like, it has all of them, but they have the highlighted area, and that's where my family's from.
That's dope. See, I would be scared of this.
Yeah.
I was trying over the summer. I was really trying to like tell my dad, like, ask my dad, like, where's like our indigenous blood at? Like, I was really like, I know I'm indigenous. Where is it at? And my dad's like, we're Spanish.
Yeah.
Like, and I was devastated. I was like, motherfuckers. Like, I want to say through learning in this past year, this year has been a really big learning year. I think for a lot of Filipinos, even a lot of people coming out with, because it is Filipino Heritage History Month. That shout out to us having 2 months in the year.
No, we
extra. I am here for it.
The representation.
I know when I saw the hashtag, I was like, wait, we had July. What was July? What was in June? Right. So, but the things that I have learned. So shout out to Dr. Pinay, shout out to Filipino Global for reposting things. There's a lot of people. Sorry, I should have put like a whole list of people doing the Lord's work.
There's so many, like there's I think Asiana Journal. There's so many different
many people.
If you actually follow, they have a Filipino American History like month. They have like a whole like page themselves, and they post.
I love it. I've been learning so much. Yeah. So even people were even posting about the first Filipinos even landed here.
Yesterday.
Yes, that was a big thing. So that was 1506.
It was
when the first Filipinos came out here.
So did I share that? I'm like,
so even before the motherfucking Pilgrims in Columbus, so they were saying something like that.
1587.
So I'm here for all of these
California.
facts. Yes, that is dope. For me, hey. We got reinforcements in here, y'all. So I do want to get to the red flags because we had already talked about like, do not call us little egg roll. Do not do that.
Oh my god.
Do not say. Do not call Asian people Oriental.
Oh, I don't like that. Like, what is that? We're not a rug.
What the fuck?
We're not a rug, right? I think I think of that, like, you know, when you're at the mall and they got that Oriental shop. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And it's like, You know what I mean? I ain't a rug. I ain't that weird like circle vase thing. You know what I'm talking about? That's blue and white. No,
Yes.
it's stuff like that. And I think like it comes to I just don't like it. There's so many different meanings towards that, like, across the board. I just no.
It's
That's what you talk
hella
about.
hella racist and hella problematic. Please don't
Yeah.
do it. I hear it more from older people. So it is something that I am totally I totally try to correct big time.
No.
And what's another one? What's another red flag? Oh, my biggest red flag is when as soon as I tell them that I'm Filipino, like, oh, do you speak Tagalog? Like, oh fuck.
No.
No, I don't
I
actually.
mean, like I can understand now because I'm learning it, but like I don't need to know anything. And then plus not
No.
there's so many languages in the Philippines.
And then or like the red flag for me is when you start spouting off all the Tagalog words, I'm like, I don't know.
Meron ka bang Tagalog? Things like that. You're like, why are you doing this? And I just asked, do
No.
you know Tagalog?
Sorry,
That's
no.
basically no. Like, why you don't need to
No.
know.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jackie. My family is not Tagalog whatsoever.
Neither's
So,
mine. That's the funny part.
And that's the
But
thing.
actually, it does come down.
Oh, wow. Shout out to the motorcycle gang
Yeah.
outside.
But actually, you're right. When it came down to that, though, like on some real stuff, it's because the national government in the Philippines is in that region
Mhm.
where the Tagalog like ethnic group is from. De facto, it became like the national language because that's where the government sat. That's where, and then of course, to have everyone unified in this country that was just kind of a bunch of islands were put together. They were like y'all country, so like that's what it was like. Oh, I mean, not country like y'all colony, like that's what it was.
Right.
And now it's like you need to have a universal way of everyone communicating with each other. But like,
Snap.
look, my mom ain't Tagalog. I'm not
No.
Tagalog. And my friend sent me a TikTok and she's not Filipino, she's black. And she was like, yo, this is so cool. And I was like, yo, I want to let you know, like, I ain't even Tagalog. I'm learning that language because like I want to be able to speak with everybody.
That's dope.
But like at the end of the day, that still ain't me. You know what I mean? I was like, because not only go do that, I was like, I gotta dig deeper.
Yeah.
There's still deeper to like who my people actually are. Like you get to the nitty-gritty of it.
I mean, before we continue with the red flags, I do want to talk about because you have been diving into those roots and you described like the outfit that you were wearing. So that was dope. I'm gonna put that up on my Instagram later.
So I'm gonna tell you with that
because I love that.
It was so like it was such a Filipino day as it was. Like I tell you how spur of the moment that was. Like we have in Pittsburgh we have an FAAP Filipino American Association Pittsburgh classic every like September. And what we do is we have like a 20K race, a 10K race, and a 5K race. Just to give selection to people and things like that. So we raise money for orphanages in the Philippines, which is really cool. And it's cool because like what they get is like the winners, they get like a bamboo, like literally carved out. Each one is carved out individually for like winners and stuff. Like that's your medal for doing the race.
I'm gonna have to go out there for that. That's dope.
It was really cool. I mean, I was there like 4:30 in the morning or something like that. We were out there, getting stuff together. I took a lot of photos for the race and things like that. So having that experience, like I was there and like they're like, oh, did you hear about the photo shoot later? I was like, what are y'all talking about? They're like, Jason and my, Koya Jason, like again, he's Chinoy. But like he could.
Oh, I love that. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, Chinese Filipino.
Yes.
Chinoy, yeah. So like, but he's an amazing dancer. Like I give shots and like that is his dance. Like he researched it. He basically taught himself how to get that dance together. But yeah, they're like, yo, we need someone because we're doing this photo shoot. We need someone to be there. I was like, look, I miss Diesel as hell. Like, well, what are y'all trying to get me to do? Okay, I was like, all right, bet. So I rolled up and I got to like dress up in that. It's for the dance called Paunjulay, and that is a traditional prenuptial like dance in Muslim like Philippines, which is in the southern Mindanao. I'm from northern Mindanao, but it felt very when I put that on, saw that I was like, yeah, because like
my ancestors are in this bitch.
Yeah, because even then it's like where the area, like at least my Lolo's from and stuff. There, it used to be the Sultanate of Butuan. Like that used to be very Muslim, but of course through colonization and things like that, it got pushed out. So it's just like I felt like I was very like reconnecting with that. I was like, I didn't think I would feel that doing this, and now I kind of want to learn to dance. It's really hard, but like
no, you could do it.
There's a lot of knee action. I gotta wear kneecaps, like knee pads for that. But like I'm telling you, like putting that on, I was just like, wow. I was like, I never
The
felt like,
regal.
because like it was like it's always the barong and things like that, but it was
Right.
like to be wearing something that is like non, it's traditionally Filipino, but non like mainstream Filipino.
I love
That I think
that.
that's what it was just like, oh shit, this is my people, right?
Yeah.
Like this is dug deeper instead of just like,
Yes.
oh, I'm doing what everyone's doing, like things like that.
I shout out to you on doing that because like I said, now that I think about it, and with all the conversation, with all the privilege I had of being with fellow Filipinos, growing up, especially in high school, I was able to be in Filipino club. Like that
Yeah.
and that we called it Maharlika.
Yeah.
And but I had to fight my way in that club because I really didn't look it. I really had to prove and still probably didn't get it.
Yeah.
But I danced to Nickling. I taught it. And
that's hard.
That's hard, especially for a fucking big girl, dog. Like it was
I'll take out your ankles real quick.
Not a chubby Filipino girl trying to do this fucking dance. Okay. And then Cariñosa. So it was kind of like I had to prove over it. Yeah. So even with my fat ass doing to Nickling, it still wasn't enough.
That hurt your ankles?
That hurt my ankles, my back. Yeah, you better not get hit by these bamboo sticks.
Oh my god.
So like going back to these red flags, like we're really trying to do the work here and trying to prove that we're Filipino, but we just are.
Yeah, one on my mind. I know we talked about this. People like it'd always be like a white dude too. And he'll be like, "Oh, I have a Filipino girlfriend or wife." Like, I don't care. Why'd you got to bring that up? Like,
I don't want to know who your dad dated, what kind of mail order bride you got from the Philippines. Don't fucking tell us that shit.
Like contextually, if we're having a real conversation about stuff, let's bring it up. But if I'm just minding my business, like I don't care about this today. Cool. What's up? What you doing?
Yes.
I don't give a fuck.
Does my Instagram handle have half Filipino on it? Yes. Does that give you the permission to tell me who everybody in your mama dated that is Filipino?
My cousin's Filipino. My uncle married. I don't care.
No, we don't care. We don't care. And then don't tell us about your favorite Filipino dish, because what the fuck am I gonna get from that? Like, oh, that's great. I'm glad you love pancit.
Yeah.
I get it. That you're trying to relate to us,
but
that shit comes off hella racist, dog. Right. Don't do it.
There's only some people, because I know this one girl, like her stepdad was Filipino. She really grew her man's Filipino, and I was just like, yo, that's cool. We're connecting on that because you grew up in it. Yeah. But when you're just coming out the cut, like I don't care where you popped up, whoever the hell to be in with you. Like I don't care about that.
If you're a white guy, and you're telling me about who the fuck you did it, I don't care.
I don't care about your girlfriend from 20 years ago.
I don't care. I don't care about your rendezvous in the Philippines.
No.
Trying to do crazy shit. I don't want to.
You might have a kid out there. You got to pay that child support for it. So I want to hear it. Like, and I know some people that are like that.
Yes.
And honestly, like, I'm just saying though, like, I'm thinking someone's very specific. I ain't gonna put no business on blast because that's some family business. But like,
I'm gonna put my family business on blast. One of the reasons also why my dad came over here is because somebody was trying to say that he was pregnant. So all my titos like, you're going to the motherfucking, you're going to Chicago because you're wilding. So I might have a sibling out there.
Actually, on some real shit. How about no? Okay, I want to get into my little bit, like real quick, because we're talking about this.
Yes.
Tell me why, like, so like my mom just found out she had an older brother that lived in the same area as her, and she's 50. She's turning 50 in a couple weeks.
What?
And she was like,
older or younger?
Older.
Oh snap!
And I'm telling you, he was like 18.
They were really so.
No, he was 18 when she was born. I was like, who is this Tito? Like I'm a Tito that I don't know about. I was like, damn. And then he's on one. I'm telling you, like, what is it? They're not legally divorced. Like my grandparents are separated. Like, you can't. It's illegal in the Philippines to get divorced.
Yep.
So like they're
still,
so they're separated. He'd been through his second wife, put in quotation, and I loved her. She was like my second grandmother.
Yes.
She passed away.
Damn
and the third one, she passed away.
Yes.
And then he started dating an 18-year-old girl. And at the time I was like, 22. I was like, I'm your oldest grandkid. Why the hell you dated someone younger than me? And then now I think he was with like, I think she's like 30 now. I was like, well, your daughter's 50. Why you with a 30-year-old? I was like, if we're gonna pay for this man to get a vasectomy, I don't have time for this. Like, we do not have to. And I bring this up to my mom all the time. I was like, well, it's probably cheap. Let's do it. This is an investment for our family. because we ain't got time to do
Lolo
this.
is out here wilding, and we need to close shop. Stop.
And it's him. It's like he's at the top. It's not even like the young. It's not even like, oh, your son's doing it. No, it's like at the top. Lolo out here living his best life.
He really is. You know what? Shout out to all the Lolos, y'all, because the older generation, it is.
I'm gonna show you a photo. I'm gonna show you a photo.
Yes.
Of him. He got dripped too, low key. Like he does.
My Lolo was a motherfucking boss. He, what was he? My dad called him something, but he was the guy. He was the fixer. He was, and the reason why he left the Philippines was because of Marcos and that whole thing. And he was actually in prison for a motherfucking hot minute. I had an uncle that was a revolutionary too. I got stories for days. I do need to get like, I need to vet those stories.
Yeah.
Because not my Lolo being out here telling me that all his, like, he had a bunch of like scars on his legs, and he told me like, oh, this is from the war, died. Those were mosquito bites. Those were mosquito bites. I was not from the war. My dad was my grandpa was a mother. He was a general, like a high ranking sergeant. He was not on the front lines at all. He was in the motherfucking office. Okay.
It's always
a World War II.
Elaborate story.
Yeah. The way how they over put the sauce on the stories is a lot. Yeah, we went over most of one of the last red flags is that all of us are not nurses.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, I
do not know how to take care of you.
Look.
If you need CPR, bitch, you're not where we need to call for help.
I'm like, because that's so funny. I'm just like, I don't know none of that.
Yes.
My brother, he's going to school for respiratory therapy.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to him. The
proud and joy of the family. Yes.
Yeah. Shout out.
There's
to
always
him.
that one.
No, it's just like he's doing that, and like which picked a great field.
Yeah.
We're in a pandemic with this. I was like, all right, like this was beforehand. I was like, you picked something right. You can be employed for life. But besides that, I was just like, you're reinforcing stuff. But when I went to business school, I was like, who am I? Who am I doing this for? I was like, am I shit?
Yes.
I feel like I'm like. I felt my mom in that presence. I was like, I feel like I'm not even doing this degree for me.
No,
I feel like I'm checking out that Filipino card. I got my business degree. Y'all can't come at me now for going into something creative.
For real, the expectations. And then here's the last red flag. We're gonna end with this because we definitely have went over. We went we had technical difficulties, y'all. So hopefully you heard us, but it is all good. The last red flag is I did watch that Joe Coy special. I do not need to hear that you watched it.
Yeah, I don't care.
I get you're trying to relate, but do not tell these things to Filipinos. No. Don't fetishize us at all.
No, I think it's great that Joe Coy has like his prominence.
Dope.
Yeah, he's a dope ass person, but at the same time, it's like he is not all of us.
He's not all of us.
No, I don't got time. Like, I mean, stuff with his mom, like, yeah, like what he's
relatable,
saying about,
accurate.
Tita's doing that. Like, I believe Tita because that's happening to the rest of us.
Not me having the Louis Vuitton bag. With crackers in it, Skyflakes. Yes.
Oh my god, that's my mom. And like in the cough, do you get that they like pass cough drops as candy?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember the one time we were like, I'm serious, like we were in the Middle East, like we were in Dubai on something, and some guy, he was an Arab guy. He was dressed up in like just the traditional wear and stuff. My mom was like, "Hey, do you want candy?" And he was like,
passing the hose.
And she passed the hose to our driver. I was like, oh my god.
He's over here like all the Vicks vapor from the halls is coming.
I still
out.
smell the Vicks. Damn, that's ingrained in me. Like I can smell it right now that we just brought that up because like it's been all over my body and every time you're sick, it's on your feet. You're wearing the socks, like it's on your chest, it's up your nose, it's all over your body.
It's also with with Hispanics, also our Latinx. Let's get it together. Vicks is the vibe. Like it's a
if
fixer.
the Spanish did anything right, it was giving us Vicks.
That's what it was. That's like, listen, if you have coronavirus and the Vicks don't fix it, bitch, go to the fucking hospital. Like that's just how that fucking works.
My god.
Oh my god, I was gonna say something at the tip of my tongue, but I'm so happy we had this conversation. We could be here for hours. Listen, what the magic that just happened between Alex and I is very, very rare. Probably, I don't know, like, do you like this whole vibe is very
I know,
rare.
and we've connected like forever ago, but I feel like every time we share space, it's always the same. It's I'm feeling it's always
all
something.
the time. And because you can't help but laugh, because literally if we be out here healing, this is us healing. This is us like just coming to terms with who the fuck we are. Like we always known that this is who we are. Because we don't fit in any boxes, and having to go to school and having to fill out what race we are, with ethnicity, having to check maybe only one. It's hard. It really is hard. And that shit's traumatizing, because it's like, who are you? But I'm glad that my kids don't have to not know anymore. And the more and more, like, you know, Filipinos, there's 12 million in the diaspora across in the world, like, and just more and more mixed Filipinos are out there.
And that's the ones that are accounted for. The document, we don't know. There's probably way more out here. Probably
way more. Yeah. And so many of your favorite celebrities are also half or mixed.
Olivia Rodrigo, her.
Talk about it.
Like, we got everybody out here.
And I don't blame them for not really saying it out loud and wearing the you know, the flag, or, you know, not everybody is Manny Pacquiao out here in these streets, you know. Not everybody is out here doing that, but like
Tito thinks he is, though.
But for your girl, for me, that's why I'll always say that I'm Chicana Pinay, always, because I'm gonna always put my pupils on the map. Because I gotta do it for my family, y'all. Like, coming from immigrant parents, you know, my dad flying here from the Philippines, the fucking fob came out. My mom crossing the border at 12, you know, like, I could feel my motherfucking ancestors on my back. This is for everybody. So every time I turn on the mic, every time I'm speaking out loud, I'm gonna always say who I am first and foremost, so you don't get it fucked up.
That's what I'm saying, though, because like I feel like growing up, everyone's like, oh, they try to other you and stuff like that. Like, no, I am Filipino. What's up? What y'all gonna do?
Yeah,
you didn't need to ask. I let you know.
Right.
I think that's the difference now, because everyone used to ask, like, what are you? Like, I don't even let you get to that point yet.
No,
I tell you,
so you don't get it fucked up. And that's why I always tell you I'm from Carson. I will always tell you I'm not from LA. I'm not gonna be one of those people that are like, oh, I'm from LA. No, I'm from Carson, California. Get it all the way together. And I'm Mexican and Filipino, y'all. So I'm super, super glad that you are here, that this happened. It was super, super magical.
Shout out to Vix. Thank you, Carol. Vix is a way of living.
She said, she's like, Carol Bobby's in the chat. She said, Vix is a way of living, and manifesting a Vix sponsorship for you. It's only proper. Yeah. Like, it's only proper.
Every commercial should be like Latinx and Filipinx folks. Like, every commercial should be
for real. We are your stockholders in this bitch. Okay. Where can people find you? What's coming up for you, so people know where to find the half Filipino?
I don't know how I cop this, but like, just Instagram, Twitter, half Filipino. I even got that on LinkedIn. I know that's not supposed to be like that, because people say professional, but like, I don't even care. If you're gonna hire me for that, this is
professional.
Yeah. If you ain't gonna hire me, then shit.
Tough shit.
You're not the one being professional. This is what it is. So I mean, I just do stuff in my local community. We got some stuff.
I love that.
Low key, I don't know if I could say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like, I think we're gonna be doing something at like a Cleveland Cavs game coming up soon. So they're trying to get me to like walk as the prince with a sword. We'll see what this is.
Yes, we're manifesting this.
I don't know if this is happening because I'm out here and I've been ignoring everyone. So sorry, I've been doing my whole life, but I'll be back. But no, in Pittsburgh though, we have this like multicultural event that we're doing.
I love
it's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be a bunch of people like from different ethnic backgrounds in the city. We're just all gonna come together and have a festival. That's why I love stuff like that.
Yes.
So I mean, but life just be popping. Things come out of nowhere.
Life is popping, and that's how we're gonna fucking end it. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. And thank you for everybody who's listening. Shout out to all the fam, y'all, because I see new people in here. I am loving life right now. Thank you so much, and go Dodgers, baby. We winning tonight. Goddamn.
Love that for y'all.
I will see you next time. Bye.
Yeah.
I went so over. What happened?
Visitors last night. That's what happened.
No, damn. Y'all said it smelled like lavender and happiness in here.
Yeah, what's going on, you guys?
Bye, YouTube. See you later.
Yeah.